We got our first look at Hunt Showdown's newest wild target known as RotJaw. Crytek released a short trailer which actually featured some voiceover for what I assume is one of the new legendary hunters. We also got a tease of the summer event, which we now know is called Tide of Shadows, with some new equipment, and we're going to break down both of those things in this video. As always, I will link to both videos discussed here in the pinned comment. The trailer opens with the silhouette of this new hunter we haven't seen before, but she might have been teased in the battle pass for the summer event. We'll discuss that in a second. And not to state the obvious, but it's raining throughout the trailer, and we can almost guarantee that is a wild card like the Inferno, but that's not official yet. This could just be a new time of day. We will see. So these hunters are trudging through the mud and searching for something in Darksight that doesn't quite look like a clue. There is this stump with smoke or bubbles coming out of it. Maybe it's the corruption, but the trailer doesn't say. However, the hunters do seem to follow the direction it is flowing. Hard to tell what's going on there. Then we get RotJaw's little feet and more glimpses of the rain. The surface reflections and water droplets landing on the wood look so good here. And then the chaos starts. I'll just show this part in its entirety first.
Mouth and I bow.
So, breaking down those quick cuts, it appears RotJaw is visible in Darksight. It seems RotJaw has some sort of rage mechanic, like the compound bosses do. RotJaw does in fact lunge out of the water, but we don't see how far it can travel, if at all. But we can see that this hunter gets tackled in the water, which is definitely scary. And there's this weird AoE or something going on. This could be the death animation or something more. We're just not sure. And then we get these really great jump scares. We saw a bunch of weapons being used on RotJaw, including the Label Marksman, which seems like an odd pick for the rain, but also the Lamat Carbine and the Knuckle Knife. The VO in this trailer says RotJaw arrived because a man traveled to another place called the Land of the Dead. The man brought back something and used this monster to do it, which takes us to our next tease from the Blood Bonds video Crytek released. I'll have another video about those changes soon, but in that video we get a few glimpses of stuff coming in the Battle Pass. The first box is this Risen Relic, hard to tell if it's a knife or heavy knife, and then we get a lore entry, I assume, and then box 3 we have a toolbox or lunchbox, whatever you want to call them. You might remember that they were randomly made smaller back in update 112, I think, so maybe that was a precursor to a deployable version of this thing. And then we have a bolt that looks very much like Dragon Breath on the hand crossbow, solidifying its legacy as the best utility pick. Box 5 is another lore entry probably, and then we have box 6, which looks like a med kit you can find in the world. Again, perhaps we will be able to deploy those soon. We have another look at those in a second. This could mean you can bring these to a compound and set them down for your team to share healing, or in the wake of RotJaw being in the river, maybe you can set these down in more open areas that aren't as easily defendable to give your exposed team a better chance at surviving. Box 7 is a doll, I think. I'm not really sure. It could just be a weapon charm, but the lock on it makes me think it's part of the premium pass. Box 8 is probably lore again, and box 9 looks like some type of bomb lance bolt. I've seen a lot of speculation on what this could be, but it looks like a frag tip based on the ribs that match the tip of the frag arrows. Just speculation on my part though, we aren't sure. Okay, in the top right corner we have this new hunter who I believe we see in the RotJaw trailer. She has the same profile, so she's probably the voice we hear. In the developer roadmap, we found out we would be getting the assistance of more First Nation legendary hunters, and she seems to fit the bill. We also got this hunter if you freeze frame it and enhance it. Those look like bandoliers to me, which is always very cool. And in the same still, we get more of that lore backdrop. New legendary hunters vie for the cursed cargo of the Delphine and the hide of RotJaw, which, taken with the VO of the RotJaw trailer, it seems the Delphine is the boat that RotJaw arrived on. And if you look at the background of the Battle Pass, we see what appears to be a riverboat parked just at the edge of the fog. Okay, some final little tidbits from that economy video. In this frame, we see what we think is the deployable medkit as a consumable, as well as dual new army swifts. And in this image, we see a new stalker beetle of some kind and a better view of the new Army Swift. So that's a lot of news and teases for things to come. Let me know your thoughts on RotJaw. Do you think it's roaming around? Do you track it down? let me know. Subscribe for more news about 113 and the upcoming event, and until the next video, goodbye.